Here's a fun fact. Most of us as ESL or TEFL teachers have absolutely no training on how to help students with ADHD in our classes. But most of us at some point in our career will have students with ADHD in our classes. So if you don't have time to go to a full-on course, you can learn 3 tips about how to help students with ADHD in your classes right here today with me, Miranda from Twinkle ESL. Tip number 1 is to change your perceptions of what it means to have ADHD. So I think there's a big misconception that to have ADHD means that you're really disruptive, you're a problem, you can never focus, you're just running around all of the time. But in actual fact, that's not true, and ADHD is much more complex. Just one example of that is that students with ADHD can actually hyper-focus on something that really interests them. And this is something that's helped a lot of famous people who have ADHD, like Simone Biles or Adam Levine, the lead singer of Maroon 5. This just goes to show, just like any other student, our job as teachers is to relate to students with ADHD, find out what captures their attention and help them through the learning process. My second tip for helping students with ADHD is get to know them and get to know their parents. Getting to know what interests your students will help you find out what makes them focus, because like I said, students can really hyper focus on what interests them, and their parents can tell you that as well. Now, I will say it can be tricky to bring up even the idea of ADHD with parents. Some parents don't know, and some parents don't want to know that their child has ADHD. So you have to do it really delicately. And even if you don't mention the term ADHD at all, it can be great to have a general conversation about, behavior and what strategies work at home, so that you can use these same strategies in the classroom, and the student also knows that there's structure and order, and it's the same at home and in their English classroom. So this can be really helpful. My third tip is help them use their extra energy in a productive way. So it might be that your student would like to hold a stress ball in their hands while they work, or something else they can fidget with without throwing, or they might love drawing, and it might be good for them to draw while they're listening or working at the same time. And if you see them start to maybe get a bit fidgety, you can take that extra energy and use it in a productive way by giving them a task to do around the classroom. So you might say, oh, please could you do me a favor and hand out all of the worksheets, or please could you collect up all of the glue sticks or colored pencils and put them on my desk. And that will give them a productive thing to do that will use their extra energy, and it will also make them feel good about themselves, because they're not the problem child in your class, they're your helper and assistant, and it will leave them feeling really good and give them a positive experience of education, which is ultimately the dream, right? There we go. So if this video has been useful for you, please comment below. I would love to hear about it. And if you have ideas for videos you would like me to make in the future, please comment below as well. I would love to find out. I love your comments and questions. This video is the first in a series about how to help students with special educational needs like dyslexia, dyspraxia, autism. So make sure that you subscribe to 3MinuteELT from Twinkle. And apart from that, I will see you at Twinkle, the global home of ESL. See you there. Bye bye.